For someone like myself who's come from Canada, we are seeing a abundant of amount of people coming in from Canada looking for our services. And I was glad that I left before things got rough, and people are always looking for something that they're going to live in, be it an apartment or a house. And so a lot of our questions from our clients from Canada. Now we work with clients from all over the world. It doesn't even surprise me anymore where our clients are coming in from. America, we've had Mexico, Sweden, Holland, the United Kingdom, we've had Georgia. Australia is another one that we have clients coming in from. And they're asking, like, what's the housing market like in Serbia? Even though the United States is still doing fairly well, Canada, unfortunately, is taking to the dumpster when it comes to the housing market. And I'm glad that I got out of the housing market in Canada in 2021 when prices were at the peak. And a lot of people now are losing a lot of money there. And it's not that they made bad decisions, they simply had the system changed beneath them there. And the houses aren't getting built fast enough. Myself, I saw that as a tradesman in Canada. They're not shortage of tradesmen first off, but then you don't have the backing of a lot of investors there anymore, especially when it comes to condos. And so what has happened in Canada? Well, between 2020 and 2023, you had basically zero interest rate there. People were flocking to the banks to get mortgages, purchasing houses that were way above their budget. They had bidding wars there, and this was a huge, fire that started this was COVID when we were under lockdowns, right? People were like, well, if I'm going to be locked down, I'm going to get a bigger house. I'm going to get a puppy. I'm going to start working from home, and I need an office. And my husband or wife needs an office, and so on and so forth. So people were encouraged to borrow aggressively, and buyers stretched themselves with the absolute limit that they could just to keep themselves in that playing field. But now fast forward to today, the interest rates have jumped drastically. So what was once almost zero, now you're looking at 4%, 5%, and we are in 2026 now. So if you bought in 2021, 22, you're up for renewal. Insurance has gone up for your property taxes and insurance claims. You also have the cost of utilities have gone up as well. So mortgage renewals are crushing households, and I'm seeing people lose money on when they're selling their houses, anywhere between 15 and 20%. And I've even talked to one client where they're lost 40% on a house. So something that they paid well over 1.4 million. They lost 40% on that. They bit the bullet and they said, hey, listen, Andre, I'm looking to pack up and head over to Serbia. And then we're looking at Toronto condos alone. The prices there are down 20% from the peak. And so now there's a lot of inventory out there. From what I heard the other day is they have 9 months of inventory, almost a year full of inventory, which is unheard of. 70% of realtors in Canada last year sold zero houses. So things are not moving because people don't have the money there. And so, now you have the wealth tax in Toronto as well, on wealthy individuals when it comes to their property taxes. So things are not going well for there. So a lot of people are getting their houses foreclosed on, which is unfortunate. But sometimes the bank's gonna be looking out for their best interest, and they're gonna be buying out your mortgage and telling you, hey, hit the rocks, and selling that house under an estate sale. And what we're having is a lot of these larger corporations coming in and buying them and creating rentals. So now you're having less home ownership. So let's compare that to Serbia. So first off, there's no bidding war culture here. I know that has kind of toned down in North America, especially Canada, but that's really never been a big thing here. The asking prices here can be still negotiated. Sellers expect negotiations, especially if you're coming in here as a foreigner. The only problem is that if you're coming here as a foreigner, you don't speak the language, it's hard to negotiate with someone who only speaks Serbian, or that they know that you came here and you have money. So something that we do with our clients is that we actually help them negotiate prices, because we of course speak Serbian. Me and my colleagues that work here, and we also find you the properties that you're looking for as well, working either with local agents around here, or things that are on the marketplace all along. And there is no psychological pressure here to overpay or to say I missed out, because there's always options here. You can always find something in the cities. Of course, you're going to pay a lot more, but then you can actually purchase something out in the villages that are funny money, essentially, what I like to call it, compared to what you buy in Canada in a similar village. Most buyers in Serbia will put down large cash portions and simply buy out outright here. So one of the things you have to know is, if you're coming here as a foreigner, you will not be able to get a mortgage here in Serbia for that property. You'll have to do a cash outright purchase. But if you sold your property where you're currently living, that can be easily done here because you already have cash. And the closing procedure also here is a lot quicker. So you can come here into Serbia, find something, say on a Monday, and close on it by Thursday, as long as our lawyers do the due diligence and make sure that the papers are clean on the property. And there's a number of things that we go into to make sure the papers are clean and that you own the property free and clear in that sense. There's also not a abundance of people that are just coming here right now and with boatloads of money. I'm seeing a huge trajectory of people that are starting to come in here, but again, it's not oversaturated with a lot of buyers. So in Serbia, the annual property taxes also are a few €100. Typically, it's about 2% of the value of your house. Not thousands like it is in Canada, and that seems to be going up. I know that in Canada, in Ontario, my few properties that I had there, my property taxes were anywhere between $4,000 and $6,000 dollars per year, depending on what the property was that I had there. And then when I was out in British Columbia, there it was about $3,000 per year as well. Here, it's very affordable, and it's not going to jump 10% year after year like it does in Canada. So also, you're coming here with cash, you're going to have free ownership. So you own the house free and clear. You're not going to be tied to a bank where the bank can come in. You didn't pay your mortgage rate. See you later. The utilities here are affordable as well. A lot of the services, internet, cable TV, if you're someone who watches TV, is affordable, and they still even give you home phone. You know, like a lot of us have cell phones these days. Some of these places still offer home phone services. So there's no surprises, there's no exploding condo fees. You don't have condo fees here per se. If you're buying an apartment, you have something called informatica that is going to cover your water, garbage, maintenance of the building. If it's a new build, you may have a fund that all the tenants, or the owners, should I say, not tenants, but owners pay into for, improvements of the building, cameras, new driveway, new roof, whatever it might be. We recently talked with the owners of where we are staying, and we wanted to get a key fob system so that we don't have to use a key for the main door. We all agreed with it. The property manager just found the tradespeople and got that installed, and now we have a key fob system. No money out of our pocket. It came out of the fund that we all put money into. At the same time, there is Serbia isn't a bubble market, and so this is because we don't have huge immigration here. Foreign buyers also need to buy in cash, and so you don't have people running to the banks getting credit. There's huge tech salaries here, so people are being able to, if they can't buy the property outright, they can afford the rent here, right? And so I think this is a huge difference from what we're seeing in Canada. Now, let's talk about the quality of life versus financial stress. And I know in Canada, people are under huge financial stress. They're working 10 to 12 hours a day, they're traveling 1 hour each way in one direction for work. So you're adding another 2 hours in travel, and God forbid you're living in southwestern Ontario and needing to take the 401, and that 1 hour commute could take a couple hours, especially now in the winter. God forbid you get a snowfall and an accident, you might not get home till midnight if you're a 9 to 5 there. So in Canada, you earn more nominally, but the housing controls you, of course. The home dictates your careers, your stress, and your mobility. One thing here in Serbia that I love is that everything's walkable. You don't need a car. I talk to many people here. Very few people travel for work. They're always either taking their bike to work, public transportation, their electric scooters, something of that nature, and they're perfectly fine with that. So in Serbia, the housing is proportionate to the income. Now, if you ask the locals here, they might talk to you about a different story here, but that's a different topic. You can actually breathe financially here. And even with the locals here that complain about their wage or whatever, 80% of them are gone all summer to Greece, to Croatia, to Montenegro. They're going on vacations. My Canadian friends, there's many of you that can't afford, and I can't remember the last time I spoke to someone, even when I lived in Canada, that said, I'm going on vacation. And you're not one rate hike when it comes to interest rates from panic when it comes to um, your house because you're purchasing it outright. You see the Bank of Canada always coming out, oh, we got news, we got this report, we're gonna hike it 1/4%, and this and that. So let me be clear that Serbia is not a cheap paradise. It has gone up, but it's much more affordable than it is in Canada, especially when it comes to coffee, a little bit of food here. The houses have gone up in prices, but they're still affordable. And so, if you're watching this from Canada, the US, or any of these Western European countries that have gone up, and you're like, hey, listen, it's time to make a change here, I would highly recommend that you come and check out Serbia first. Talk to us, see what information we can give you before you make that jump. But you may be one of those clients that have surprised us and said, hey, I'm here, I'm in your office, I'm here to stay. Let's make that move. And if you're one of those ambitious people, I'm looking forward to speaking with you. And if you're one that is a little bit more cautious and wanting to do the due diligence beforehand, feel free to check out Serbia. It's a beautiful country. You won't regret it.